We've been working our way towards the Inferno Cape after the completion of the Colosseum. So we've been working on range levels, magic levels, and getting our hit points levels up as well. Recently, we acquired Elite Void, specifically the range set, and as such, it's just a matter of time to get a higher range level. Now we turn our attention to magic because we're still only 83 magic. And I don't know if you can tell, but if we zoom out here, we are at the Mage Training Arena. This is a pretty infamous place to the OSRS community. It is notorious for being bland and just very slow. However, at some point, in fact, let me fact check this. Back in May 2024, they did a massive update to this area to kind of refresh it and make it better for the times. I know we're well into 2025 now and even on our way to 2026. Crazy how time flies. But I've never been back to the Mage Training Arena since the update. So I'm going to have to learn just what the updates are, what they have changed, and how this is supposedly better now. We've got our trusty progress hat on, and we have the Magic Training Arena points UI here, starting at 0 points, 0 points, 0 points, and 0 points respectively. So you know I've never been here. So we are here for Magic EXP, but we are also here to pick up a few key unlocks. Those unlocks being the Mage's Book, which I believe is going to be our best slot mage offhand as a 50 defense account. We won't have access to the Eladinus ward and the Fortified ward. We're going to want Infinity Boots, which are also going to be our best in slot magic boots, as we won't be able to upgrade them to Eternal Boots. We're going to want a Master Wand for our future Kodai wand. I do have one on wait for it. I don't know if there's a definitive end to this series. However, one of my big goals is for this account to have its own items. Oh, and unlocking bones to Peaches would be pretty good too. Although I think technically I could just make tabs on wait for it and have this account use them. We're going to start out at the Telegrab room, and a quick rundown of what they changed. Apparently you just get more magic EXP now. So each maze you complete now gives you magic XP on top of the previous magic XP that you would get already. I think the dialogue with the NPC is just a little bit better, and a big thing, you apparently get run energy back now after completing 5 mazes. I'm going to utilize the filters on the spellbook here because I mostly just need to Telekinetic grab, and it would suck if I misclicked and teleported out of here. So let me just hide combat spells, we won't be using that. Hide teleport spells, and then we'll just enable icon resizing. There we go. We haven't done 5 mazes yet, but I was just thinking, in combination with the run energy replenish and the run energy changes that they did a while ago, this should not have any issues whatsoever. This should just be smooth sailing. In terms of the points we need from this room, we're going to need a total of 1,300 points. I think most of it is the Mage's Book, and the next most expensive thing is actually the Master Wand, and that's because you have to get each tier of wand and upgrade it respectively. You can't just skip ahead and get the Master Wand off rip. According to the wiki, if you're really paying attention here and not making mistakes and you're just focused, it's going to be about 288 points per hour. So with the 1,300 we need, it's going to take us about 4.5 hours. But, you know, I'm not really going to be locked in the Mage Training Arena. I mean, come on, it's still Mage Training Arena. So it's probably going to take us longer than that. Another change they made at some point that I'm not sure if it's a direct change because of Mage Training Arena, but they did remove this weird stall you used to have when you telegrab things. So now it feels very fluid and not at all clunky. We just got started on the grind, so the copium levels are naturally a lot higher than they would be. And I've been thinking, hey, I wonder if I should go for the Infinity outfit. Obviously, in terms of bonuses, it's not quite as good as the Blue Moon set. However, magic damage percentage-wise, it is the same. The set gives you 3%. And I've been thinking, you know, the downside of being a 50 defense account and using the Blue Moon gear, or the Moon's gear in general, is that they cost charges, which cost GP. So it's going to be a constant upkeep type thing. But yeah, I'm just yapping right now, and it's pretty unlikely that I'm going to go for this set. We'll have to see though. It just occurred to me that maybe I should bring a air battle staff, because I've been chewing up air runes. I mean, obviously there's nothing I can do about the law runes, but I can definitely save on air runes. So I was heading out of the area to grab the air battle staff. And I was wondering, I wonder if they added a bank here. And turns out they did. Now this is a pretty big change. I think if I restricted myself to even lower than 50 defense, there is a world where the Infinity Robes is my best in slot magic armor. Especially if I don't want to deal with the wilderness, I know there is Dagon High. We got ourselves our first 100 points. We just have to do this 13 more times in this room. This Mage Training Arena arc is definitely a piece of content where I'm going to be breaking up the grind by keeping up with my birdhouses. If I'm not mistaken, on this birdhouse run, we should be picking up a new level. Yep, on the 4th birdhouse, we're going to pick up a new level, 78 Hunter. Remember when I made it a point to set up the spellbook filters so I don't accidentally TP out? Well, I just came back from a birdhouse run, so I had to have the teleports out. And I came back, and I misclicked on teleport to house. But luckily, I've learned that the game prevents you from TPing out of the arena, so they did think of something like this, and they prevent you from doing that, which is pretty nice. But I'm going to go ahead and reset up the filters anyways, just because it's nice to be able to easily click my spell. We've been chipping away, and I'm just over 500 points now. We got another 800 to go from this room. And then, there's 3 more rooms. Okay, we have some semblance of progress here. 84 magic. We're just over 650 points now, so halfway to the 1300 that we need, at least for this room. Well, this was a bit unexpected. We hit 60 Slayer off of doing a random event. You know, at some point, I'm going to have to get the POH set up on this account as well. Sometimes I don't feel like multi-logging, so I have to log in on the other account just to access the POH. I logged out too early while I was still in the POH, and it kicked me out. Coming up is 1,000 points in the Telegrab room. Although we get a bit of a bonus because that was 5 puzzles in a row. We're at 1,008 now. If we're doing this efficiently, I guess we're only here in this room for about 1 more hour. This should be the final puzzle here. And we're at 1,300 total points to be exact. We can now move on to any of the other 3 rooms. I don't think it matters which order you do them in. Well, I'm actually going to do this tomorrow because I spent my entire day today doing just the 1 room. The magic EXP from the Telegrab room honestly wasn't too great, but I think the other rooms will be better. It's a new day currently. I just got done with the farm runs, birdhouses, and all that typical Ironman stuff. I'm running over to the rune shop real quick to pick up some earth runes as well. Well, actually just earth runes. This is because the next MTA room we're going to work on is the graveyard, which is going to require us to cast Bones to Bananas. If we had Bones to Peaches unlocked, we would do that, but obviously we just got started at MTA, so we do not have that. Bones to Bananas is going to cost us 1 nature rune, 2 water runes, and 2 earth runes per cast. Now obviously there's nothing we can do about the nature runes. We don't have the staff from Bryo, but we do have our twin flame staff for the water runes, and we'll just have to buy ourselves some earth runes. For this room, we're going to need the same amount of points, but I do think this is going to go by quicker. Now, I do think there are varying strategies to how to do this room, but I think the simplest method for us is to just pick up 13 bones, cast Bones to Peaches, deposit them, and rinse and repeat. This is the easiest method to do without thinking too hard and without paying too much attention. This is because 13 bones will always convert to a full inventory no matter what. I mentioned that the points per hour is going to be better, but I also think the EXP per hour is going to be better. So this room should go by faster, and it should just feel better in general than the first room we did. Although the downside is, it is a little bit more intensive in the sense that I have to be spam clicking this bone pile. Another thing is we do take a bit of chip damage through our time in this room, but that's okay. We don't need to bring any food because we are making our own food. We're going to be using the bananas we make occasionally just to heal up. I originally thought to do the Enchanters room next after the Telegrab room. However, I decided to roll with this because I just want to get this one out the way. I don't like any activity where I have to be more or less spam clicking, to be honest. So in this room, there are actually 4 different types of bones with different conversion rates. However, because the piles are so far apart, and some of them are even further away from this food chute here, and the piles constantly change as to which bones you pick up, it's actually not worth it to run around and pick up the highest conversion rate one. Instead, you just pick on the pile that's closest to the chute, and you rinse and repeat. So without looking it up, I don't really know what changes they have made to this room to improve it, I think perhaps maybe you take reduced damage now, and the bonus runes that you get, I think, I don't think they're showing up in my rune pouch, so maybe we get them upon leaving the room instead. Anyways, it's only been a couple of minutes, but we are already at over 100 points. So, we just have to do this 13 more times, and we can be finished with this room. Obviously, we're starting out strong here, but I'm not sure how much longer I can go without needing to take a break from this. Okay, we are down to 8 HP, so let's go ahead and... Oh, I have left-click drop on the bananas. You know what? They only heal for 2 as well, so with that being said, I think it might be a better option if we simply just leave the room, go upstairs, because now there's a bank here. Oh yeah, and there we go, we got the runes, the bonus runes. 26 blood runes and 25 dead runes. But yeah, let's head upstairs and we'll just, I don't know, chew on some Karambans or something. Yeah, that did not take long ago. We are already back in the room and continuing where we left off, so that is 100% the move. While we're working on the graveyard room at MTA, over on, wait for it, we're back at the Zaya RC mines to get more blood runes. I probably won't be actively doing this the entire grind at MTA, but we'll get blood runes where we can. Just a little under halfway to the needed points for this room, and I've made a couple adjustments. For one thing, I decided to turn on the inventory viewer plugin so that I can just look at the inventory without having to actually swap to the tab. I can look over to the left and see how many bones I have, and then I can just camp the spellbook to cast bones to bananas. For the most part, I'm still going for picking up 13 bones and then converting and turning them in, but if I'm paying a little bit more attention, there actually is a number that does the math for me at the top left corner there. And sometimes if I'm picking up the right bones, I don't need to pick up 13 bones. I decided to take a break from the Mage Training Arena, so I parked myself at the Nightmare Zone in our new shiny Elite Void. Of course, we're using the Venator bow, so we're going to be gaining range EXP pretty quickly here. We're currently 125k EXP away from 94, and we'll probably be picking that up relatively shortly, maybe about an hour. Again, I just want to reiterate, currently everything we are working on is to get ourselves to the Inferno and get the Infernal Cape. So currently we're working on our range levels, and we've been at Mage Training Arena to get our magic levels up so that we can start ice barraging. And of course, any hit point levels we get will help greatly as well. The little break at Nightmare Zone is over, we're back at MTA. But we did hit 94 range, so one step closer to 99. We have reached 1,000 points at the graveyard, just 300 more to go. Should be, I don't know, less than an hour, I think, if I'm paying attention. Just having a bit of a discussion with the clan here, and I've been saying, you know, I'm definitely kind of influenced with the content creation and making these videos because I feel like I would not have came to Mage Training Arena this early. The first time around on Wait For It, I didn't go to MTA until I pulled a Kodai insignia to make the wand. I think overall this is a good thing though. It pushes me out of my comfort zone a little bit. Maybe it makes me play a little bit more efficiently, as doing MTA early before you hit 99 magic is good, and the unlocks here are actually pretty important. And especially for this account, the Mage's Book is going to be my best in slot. With this Bones to Peaches or Bones to Bananas and turning in this inventory, we reach 85 magic. That gives us Water Surge, Teleport Block if we want to, you know, go PKing, and we can use the Tumican Shadow, which, by the way, we actually have a dupe shadow on the group account. Well, shortly after hitting 85 magic, we also reached our required 1,300 points from the graveyard. We can now move on to either the Enchanters room or the Alchemist room. I think we're going to do the Enchanters next, but we're going to save that for another day. So far, we've been doing one day, one room, and we'll see if that remains true for the remaining 2 rooms, but I'm definitely beat for the day, so. Alrighty, it is a new day. We're on day number 3 of MTA, and now we're going to start on the Enchanters room. For this room, we're going to need 14,000 points, but not to worry, the points scale a little bit differently in this room, so it's just a bigger number for no reason. I think in terms of real time, it's going to take us less time than the other 2 rooms will take. As the name of the room implies, you do a lot of enchanting in this room. And the higher level enchanting spell you cast, the more points you get per cast. So I believe the level 1 enchant grants you 1 point, whereas the level 5 enchant grants you 5 points. Our highest available spell is the level 5 enchant for Dragonstones. Now I believe there are two general strategies to this room. For one thing, you can pay attention to the bonus. So right now it's this red pyramid looking thing, and depositing those will net you extra points. But look, it's switched already to these green cylinders. So you can actively pay attention to that, enchant them, and deposit to the center here. Or you can just pick up any of the shapes and then turn them in, ignoring the bonus. So kind of a higher intensity one that will net you more points per hour, or a lower intensity one where you don't have to pay as much attention. So again, we're going to need 14,000 points, but as you can see, we're already gaining a ton of them. We're up to 70 points already, 75 and counting. So this should not take that long at all. If you really want to put in the least amount of effort possible while still doing this room, you can just click on one pile, cast the enchanting once, and just let it auto cast itself. Which, as you know, letting it auto cast your inventory versus manually clicking one by one is a pretty big difference. But whatever gets the job done for you personally. Besides going for the shapes, I'm sure as you noticed when I first entered the room, there are these Dragonstones on the floor. They will occasionally respawn around the center room, and you'll also occasionally get these from the shape piles. These will provide, I believe, double the amount of points, so whenever there's Dragonstones, make sure to get those. I always appreciate when there is a higher intensity and a lower intensity method. That way you can choose and maybe even do a combination of both depending on what you're up for in that moment. Back in the first room, the Telekinetic room, there was no option really. You just had to do the room as is. There was no way to speed it up. There was no way to slow it down. You just had to do what you had to do. In this room, right now, I'm actively clicking, but a couple of minutes later, I can just as easily stand there and AFK. This room is also better than the second room we did, which was the graveyard room. We don't take damage here, and we don't have to spam click as hard. Sure, we do to pick up the shapes. However, we can just let autocast happen. I've been doing a lot of blood rune crafting on Wait For It, but as of today, we are currently restocking our amethyst arrows. We've been training range in Nightmare Zone on 416 Hero, but the Venator bow, and because we don't have the Vorkath backpack yet, we're actually losing out on a lot of arrows. I mean, they show up on the ground, but I'm not really bothered to pick them up. I believe the big QOL update they did to this room was having each shape and color available in every corner of this room. I believe in the past that wasn't the case, and you'd have to be running around this entire area a lot more often. And then run energy would become an issue as well. Speaking of run energy, I'd just like to point out that this is yet another case where the run energy changes they made who knows how long ago at this point, but it is a significant change, and looks like it just benefits you just about anywhere. I got really confused for a second, but turns out I've ran out of earth runes, and now I can't do level 5 enchant. So let's go pick up some more earth runes. And by pick up, I mean just hop on over to Wait For It, and I don't know. I have 146k earth runes on this account, so let's just take out, I don't know, like 20k. Sure, why not? Okay, back into the room we go. Ideally, I would be using a mud staff, but unfortunately, we have just never gotten one before. Normally, I do a little update midway through, but we're up to 10,000 points, almost 10,200 actually already. We just need another 3,800 to go. But right now, I'm just going to go do a birdhouse run real quick. All right, we didn't even have to finish up this inventory. Once we turn this in, we can get out of this room because we have over 14,000 enchantment points. And with that being said, there's only one room that remains, and that is the Alchemy room. However, keeping with the theme of the last few days of doing one room per day, we're going to save the last room for tomorrow. Now, I'm just going to head over to Nightmare Zone and train up my range levels. We're definitely going to hit 95 today, and we'll inch closer and closer to 96 and 99 overall. Good morning, gamers. Just logged on for the day doing our farm run. And today's going to be a big day because we're getting 90 for farming on the next palm tree seed that we're going to harvest. We're going to get some magic levels, 86 for sure, and then some. And last night, I hit 96 range, which I decided is more than enough for us to hit the Inferno. And today, most of all, we're going to finish Mage Training Arena and collect all our items. All the points we've been saving up the last couple of days, we're going to spend them today. Making my way over to the Brimhaven fruit tree patch. And there we go, 94 farming. Alright, we have made it to the Mage Training Arena, entering the final room for us, the Alchemy room. The Alchemy room is fairly straightforward. There are 6 cupboards in here, and you take items out of the cupboards to low or high alch respectively. So right now we're taking out these Addy kite shields, and we're alching them. There is a yellow arrow pointing to this right now because the game is telling me, or actually this might be a RuneLite plugin, I'm not sure if it's built into the game, but basically it's telling me that currently the Adamant Kite Shield has the highest alchemy value. And occasionally things will rotate and change, and right now the Emerald is now the best value item. But if you look over here near the top right, there is a green arrow pointing to the Adamant Helm. And what this green arrow indicates is that you will get free alchs on this item right now. So it's kind of up to you whether you want to go for the free alchs or the best value one while still burning up your runes. So with that being said, once again, there is 2 varying strategies with this room, and it just depends what you want to go for. The best points per hour or maybe the lowest cost per hour. Now that I very briefly explained the mechanics of the room, now it's time to talk about how many points we need. We're going to need 1500 points in this room to get all the items that we want. And according to the wiki rates, it's anywhere between 320 something to 340 something pizzazz points per hour. So we're probably going to be here for about 5 hours, give or take. Now 5 hours is a long time, but once we get that out the way, we're probably not going to have to ever come back. Unless we want the full infinity robes for some reason. I guess we're not directly getting points right now, but the coins in our inventory is the currency system for that. Basically, every 100 coins in our inventory is converted to 1 pizzazz points. Another thing to note is that you can actually right-click the cupboards and take 5 of the items. Just picked up a magic level, we're now 86, but still a long ways to go. In terms of the coins we have in our inventory, we're a little over 200 pizzazz points right now, and I'm already kind of regretting leaving this room for last. I don't know what I was thinking. I probably would have wanted the enchanting room last, to be honest. If you want to progress in this room at all, there's absolutely no downtime. There's no auto casting for high alchemy or even low alch, so you're constantly clicking, and then you're constantly having to pay attention to when the items rotate and when the points rotate. Mistakes have been made for sure. This should have been maybe one of the first rooms I did instead. If we turn in our coins now, we will have about 760 points, give or take. So a little over halfway being done with this room. And then, of course, as you know, once we're done with this room, we're done overall. This room, and I guess actually Mage Training Arena in general, is not the most engaging content. So on the side, I've just been watching some YouTube videos. And luckily, it's not too bad to be watching videos while doing this. One of the quality of life changes they made to this room is that now the room only rotates the items every minute or so. I don't know what it was before, but it was definitely a lot more frequent than that. We've got just under 1600 nature runes remaining. It looks like we will have to restock on those to close this out. According to the wiki, we use about 900 nature runes, give or take, per hour. I took a bit of a break, so I went ahead and turned in my coins. We're now at 857 pizzazz points, and we're starting up another coin stack. Also, while I was gone, I also gained another magic level. We are now 87 magic. Okay, if I can do math correctly, depositing these coins should get me enough. Yes, it does. We're actually a little bit over. We hit 88 magic as well. And now we can go claim all our loot. We're going to head on upstairs, and surely I didn't do any math wrong, right? You know, I plugged it all into the calculator. And let's talk to the rewards guardian. Let's be careful here. The first thing we're going to do is get the beginner's wand, into the apprentice wand, into the teacher wand, and then finally into the master wand. That is 4 collection logs right there. All right, we got that out the way. We want the infinity boots. We want the mage's book. And bones to peaches. That should be it. We are finally done